think I should insert that with a question mark at the end. It's Osric Chau. How are you? Okay there? You don't want to give just.
It's been a challenge learning how to sit in a skirt. I don't know how the girls do it.
Hello, Osric. Welcome to Comiccon.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Have you been to Montreal before?
Yes, I've been in Montreal 2 times prior now. The first time was in grade 7 for a field trip. I was in French immersion in Vancouver, and so one of the...
I'm from Vancouver too as well. I went that same field trip.
So one of the things is trip to Quebec. And then 2 years ago, I came back here for the Akira project, and that was going on after. Woo! So I will ask that you don't ask anything about Akira, because we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Or just he was miserable the whole bloody time.
I mean, it really looks at how you prioritize. I mean, Kevin was never about himself, right? I mean, he had things that he knew he had to do, and and that was his end all, right? He did everything, whether it was sometimes it was for himself. School, I think he did for himself, but it was also for his parents. He didn't want to disappoint his mom. Still don't know about his dad. Like translating the tablets, right? He could have taken naps, he could have eaten better, but he didn't because he knew that the fate of the world kind of came down to how fast he got it done, right? So he was very much about the greater good than his own well-being. So I feel like even in the end, he got the short end of the straw for everything, and spoilers if you haven't seen Season 9, when the mid-season finale happened, it sucked, right? It definitely sucked. But when 9/14 happened, he kind of had that closure that at least his mom was okay, right? And that was nice. It's like, okay, it wasn't for nothing.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think we have some amazing plans coming.
For me, it's been Marvel since I was a kid. The Hulk is my favorite. You know why? Because Marvel characters have so many more flaws than the DC characters, and I really like that. Like Peter Parker and Bruce Banner. Like those are the characters that I grew up with, and I just like that they're not so complete. Like nothing against Superman, but I just feel like you really have to try to make him an interesting character because he's so perfect. How can anyone relate to him? And like the first movie, I actually quite liked because they kind of made a point of that. It's like Superman's really lonely because no one can ever understand how he feels, right? And so you have a lot of those big shots where he's just up alone in space, and he kind of is God because he can listen to everything and he has all this power. And in a sense, there is no one that can relate to him on that level, and and it is very sad. And that was the first time I'm like, oh, okay, never thought of it that way. But apart from that, he's kind of a boring character. And so, yeah, I mean, Marvel movies aside, like I read a lot of the Marvel, the Ultimate Universe stuff, and I like the art style of Marvel better too, like the artists that they had. It just always, it struck a chord with me, so Marvel.